Good morning, children. I think that you all. Good morning, children. I think all have done your test good, and I think you successfully finished your first formative assessment. And in last class, we learned the 2 chapters for the first formative assessment, and even we did the revision classes for that. And today, we are going to start a new lesson, that is movement of the earth. What do you mean by movement? How the earth moves from? You all know that now in this class, that is in the new chapter, that is movements of the earth, we'll be just recalling some of the things related to the earth or the facts related to the earth. So what happens here? See, the dash spins on its axis. They have given you the 2 options, that is the earth and sun. So which rotates or spins on its axis? It is earth. The earth spins on its own axis. The second one, the earth has dash types of movements. So how many movements are there are found in the earth? There are 2 or 4. It's only 2 types of movements are there. So which are the 2 types of movements we'll be learning in this lesson, and what is the meaning of that 2 movements will be in this chapter. You'll be understanding what is the 2 movements of the earth. So before going to the lesson, we'll just know the relationship between the sun and the earth. So before going to this lesson, we'll just know some of the facts between the sun and the earth. So, what's the relationship between these 2 planets? You all know that in our galaxy, what's the name of our galaxy? The name of our galaxy is Milky Way. In Milky Way, there is a solar system. What do you mean by solar system? Solar system is nothing but the sun and its family. The sun and its planet. The family of sun and its planet is called solar system. And you all know that there are 8 planets, including sun. So here we are just going to learn a brief information about the sun and the earth. So you all know that the earth moves around the sun. Example, now this is sun. So now this is the sun. Now this is earth. Earth is moving. So now earth is in the north portion. What happens now? The sun is moving towards the east portion. Again the earth is moving to south portion. Again the sun is moving to west portion. So what happens? It's moving from what the earth is spinning around the sun, or its earth is moving around the sun. But since our planet is very large, you all know that earth is very big planet. So because of big planet, we cannot feel the movement, the earth's movement. See now, if we are standing, now we are stationary, that we are not moving from the place. We are just in the same place. When we move from one place to another, what happens? We feel that, yeah, we are moving. So in the same way, when the earth is moving around the sun, we cannot feel. Why we can't feel? Because here the earth planet is very big. Because of big size, we couldn't feel how the earth is moving around the sun. So on the other hand, you all know that. So now you came to know that the earth is rotating the sun, or it is moving around the sun. So what happens? The sun is moving? No, the sun is not moving, because here the sun is stationary. What do you mean by stationary? What do you mean by stationary, children? Stationary is nothing but not moving. It's not moving from place to place to place. So that is known as stationary. So here you all know, in olden days, the scientists like Copernicus. Copernicus thought that the sun was moving around the earth, and Galileo told that the earth is moving around the sun. So there were some of the reasons, and the scientists told that some scientists told that the earth is moving around the sun, and some scientists told that the sun is surrounding the earth. So what happens here? Here the sun is stationary. The sun is not moving anywhere. It is in its own place. The sun is in its own place, and the earth is moving around the sun. But we feel it. Why we feel? We think that yes, the sun is moving around the earth. How can we feel that? So now you all can feel that. When there is a light, you all know that in the day there is more light, the sun is there, more heat and light is produced during the daytime because the light is here, because the sun is there. So you can feel very bright everywhere. But during night time, the sun won't be there. When there is no sun, there is no light or heat. It is very dark. But when we are living inside the earth, we feel that the sun is moving around the earth. So now you can just feel that. When the sun comes, you feel, oh, the day begins. Oh, belegaitu. You feel that. When the sun moves away when sun sets, after setting sun setting, you say that, oh, it became very dark. Now it's going to be night. So you feel that. So by this activity, what you will think? Oh, the sun is moving away from us, or the sun is coming near to the earth. So, and even you all know that the sun rises in the east. So you all know that in the east direction the sun rises, and the sun sets in the west. So what happens? The rising of sun begins from the east. From east side you can just see the sun rising, and whereas you can just see the sun setting. The sun sets in the west. The sun rises is nothing but dawn. Dawn is nothing but morning time. Dusk is nothing but night. Got it, children? And why? How can it be? How you all know that the sun is stationary, and it is due to the movement of earth that the sun appears to be moving. So what do you think that, oh, the sun is moving around the earth. That is why it is making day and night. It's making the sun to rise in the east and setting in the west. But it's not the right answer. The sun is stationary and the earth is moving on its own axis, or rounding around the sun on its own axis. Now, in this class, we just came to know some of the points regarding the sun and the earth. The next one in this lesson, we will be learning about movements of the earth. So the next we will be learning about movements of the earth. So today we are going to learn the next subtopic in this lesson as movements of the earth. So here you all know that the earth has two types of movement. So earth has two movements. Which are the two movements? X, rotation, and second one is revolution. So these are the two movements of the earth. The two movements of the earth is rotation and revolution. So you all know that top andre enu bugri. You all play, especially the boys play with the top. Here top andre it's a bugri ಆಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅದೇ ದಾರ ಹಾಕಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು you just leave on the floor. What happens? The top or the bugri starts rotating fast. It moves rounding fast. So here they have given you an example. It moves on its axis like a top and also moves around the sun on its own orbit. So what happens? Bugri enge suttuto ade tara the earth also spin on its own axis. So if this is a sun, what happens? The earth is this is earth. So what happens? Now here we have considered the earth to a top. Top is nothing but bugri. ಇವಾಗ ಈ ಭೂಮಿನ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, we are just considering the earth as top. When the top is left down, what happens? It rotates on its own axis. In the same way, the earth is rotating on its own axis around the sun. So when it rotates on its own axis, then that movement is called as rotation. The first movement is called as rotation, and the second movement around the sun is called revolution. The first, see, I'll just tell you, the first movement is called rotation, and the second movement around the sun is called revolution. So there are two types of movements of the earth. They are rotation and revolution. So here let us learn what do you mean by rotation, the meaning of rotation. So here we'll be learning the meaning of rotation. So today let us discuss the meaning of rotation. What do you mean by rotation? Rotation is nothing but spinning. So you all know that the earth rotates on its own axis. It doesn't want any help. It just will be moving on its own orbit or on its own axis. So here the axis is an imaginary line which is slightly tilted. Hence the earth rotates in a slanting position. So what happens here? Here it is tilted. The orbit. Here this is an orbit where the earth rotates. This is earth. And this is sun. So what happens? You all know that the earth rotates on its own orbit, and here what happens? The orbit of the earth is slightly slanted, or it is slightly tilted. Tilted ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಬೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. So that is called as tilted. So what happens? The orbit of the earth is tilted and the movement will be in a slanting. So what happens? The earth rotates in a slanting position. So what happens? It's moving in a slanting position. You can just see the slanting position of the earth. So So what happens here? You all know that the earth rotates. The earth rotates from west to east. So this is the west and this is east. So what happens? The earth is rotating from west to east. So when it rotates from west to east, what happens? When earth rotates, the side facing the sun will be day. So what happens? Now that the sun now the sun rays are falling on the west side. And here it's not. So what happens when sun rays are fallen on the west side? What happens? It occurs there. Whereas when in the east side, when the sun is far away from the east side, what happens? It causes night. Wherever the sun falls on the east side of the earth, it will be facing day. And whereas when the earth is away from the sun, it causes night. Got it, children? And so here, what happens? It takes for one rotation. On one rotation, the time taken for one rotation will be 24 hours. So what happens? To complete one rotation, you all know that when there are 24 hours in a day. What do you mean by this 24 hours in a day? 24 hours in a day is nothing but 12 hours day and 12 hours night. So in the same way, even here the earth rotation is taking 24 hours to complete one rotation. And as if you know that the earth which is rotating from west to east, what happened? The eastern hemisphere will have the day first. So you all know that the earth is rotating from west to east. So when it is rotating from west to east, what happened? Here the eastern hemisphere will be facing day and the western hemisphere will be facing night. So this is how the earth rotates from west to east. So what happens here? The eastern hemisphere is ahead, means it is little above it is ahead and in Agatha it is little bigger than the western hemisphere. So that is why the eastern hemisphere will be facing all the time day and western hemisphere night. So here India lies in the, where the India lies? India lies in the eastern hemisphere. So when it lies in the eastern hemisphere, what happens? Here it's facing the daytime. When we have a day, the other countries in the western hemisphere will be facing. When India is having daytime, what happens? The other countries which are present in the western hemisphere, it will be facing night. So this is about the rotation. So I think you understood the brief information about the sun and the earth, movements of the earth. In movements of the earth, we learn the first movement called rotation. So children, I'll be giving you a small assignment. So when you're coming for the next week, you have to read these hard words and practice 5 times. So the first word is ORBIT, bit, orbit. Second word is movement. Stationary, STATIONARY. T-I-O-N-A-R-Y. Stationary. R-O-T-A-T-I-O-N. Rotation. R-E-V-O-L-U-T-I-O-N. Revolution. A-X-I-X. Axis. T-I-L-T-E-D. Tilted. E-S-T-E-R-N. Eastern. H-E-M-I-S-P-H-E-R-E. Eastern Hemisphere. Ninth one. W-E-S-T-E-R-N. Western. H-E-M-I-S-P-H-E-R-E. Western Hemisphere. E-X-P-E-R-I-E-N-C-E. Experience. So these are the 10 words which I am giving you the assignment. So yeah, all should write 5 times. Practice 5 times. So this will be your assignment. So for the today, I'll be ending your classes. In the next class, I'll be doing you the next subtopic, that is the revolution, and how the seasons are caused. Thank you, children.